might kill state of corruption. What I'm going to give you today is very simplistic and direct. But it's going to be a catalyst to catching corruption across each and every one of our states in this country. What I'm going to show you is a model on how to bring them down. And as simple as it is, because we're at the end of this chess game. There's not many pieces left and not many moves on the boards left. That's why it's going to seem that obvious to you. Because it is. What's not obvious to me or the corrupt is what are you going to do about it? Now you've seen that video from me at Judicial Watch in Washington. That showed with absolute clarity that it was politically being stopped by the Republicans as well as the Democrats. Even though the exposure of Clinton with Bill Shaheen, and I'll explain again. That's the size of this. Well, I'm going to cut through this real simple formula to get right into the heart of the corrupt, which is why it's so dangerous and why I need you sharing this video. I can't even tell you if this is going to be allowed to be posted. But if it is, for the time that it is, again, it's a formula of success. You've got to get it out. I speak to many groups and work with many groups. There's a common denominator of bravery and people who want to help and find justice. But they all have a certain direction that they go in. Now, I am telling you, my belief is direct to the people. Go to you, which is why I believe Facebook's such in danger of blocking me. As is YouTube did. As we all know, the media sold us out multiple times. So we have this. This is the last bastion is for you to find out and be outraged enough to do something about it. But the difference, I believe, what I'm bringing you here now, is a means of victory. A means of winning. Which is why they're so desperate. So let me start, okay? This simple. A 91A is the Truth of Information Act. And if you send a request to a state agency, they have to give you the information. Say, for instance, your information, your files. Well, I did this with the banking department and Jerry Little. I'll post this and you'll see that the 91A was in November 16th, 2016. We didn't get any information. You know you have a 91A. You know what that is, right?
Yes.
Freedom of Information Act.
Yes.
Have you delivered all my files to the AG's office like you're supposed to? Have you done that? My files. The files that belong to me that would have pertained with that check. Have you sent that to the AG's office like you were supposed to? What? It's my file, right? And you're the banking commissioner. And you get a 91A to deliver that file. Have you done that?
I can step in. I'm legal counsel.
Well, wait a minute. I'm asking Mr. Little here. He knew about it. Did you know about that, Mr. Little?
Yes, I knew about it.
You knew about it. Did you send it?
I'm not sure what the status is.
You're not sure?
No, I'm not.
Did you look through
You want
it?
honesty, right?
Well, you couldn't sneak up on honesty. How about this? Did you look at the file?
No.
You didn't even look at my file, and you're the banking commissioner, and I'm making all these accusations that it was false. Did you know all the paperwork was redacted so we couldn't read it? They were changing the classifications of my notes on the DRA, right? Did you know they hit me this week too? From the same thing, Judge Anderson and Richard Head. The reason why that information is so important is that along with the Attorney General's office, they worked with the banking department and people that worked in my company like Isaac Crane and Brian Toomey to change classifications of notes. What it means is they were working corruptly to change my financial circumstances to leverage me as they're doing now. The DRA with Judge Anderson. Okay. Remember now, these are the people who offered me $50 million, but it's not going to do you any good if I take the money. Right. Or your children. Or the ability to stop these people. So let's think now, okay? With the new 91A, they had to send me on June 5th my file, in particularly the last hearing. Now you're going to show a little snippet. Now we're into the banking department. Okay, we're into a 91A. We got information from the file, and you're going to see that they redacted most of the information on that hearing. I'll show you examples of the redaction. So even on our Freedom of Information Act, they still use redaction. Now, they're not allowed to use redaction if it's in the best interest of the public to be read. I don't know. Leveraging me for my silence to protect drug dealers? Do you think that might be for the public's best interest? Let me explain. The banking commission is the drug laundering system, right? If they audit the drug bank, for instance, in my state, Primary Bank, number of credit unions, and it's got to be the same in your state. You catch the drug dealers and the cartels. You don't think they're just in Mexico, do you? We're not that enterprising? Our corruption? Please. You see, so at that point, you catch them. So it becomes the gem of corruption. The piece that can leverage. If you can control the drug dealers, you control the money. The money, then you get the politicians. See, it's that simple. So you've got to break into the banking department. This breaks us in. Because you're going to see a hearing called Follow the Head. Well, they had a hearing when I brought up these same arguments that I mentioned to you. What they were doing, they were all redacted. They were literally reading off a black piece of paper.
At this time, I'd like to remind the parties and witnesses that issues of confidentiality are addressed in RSA Section 383.10 of the New Hampshire statutes, and specifically RSA 383.10b.
Explain that, please.
Yes. The statute and I'll give it, I'll just refer to the statute, and it's my understanding that we've got a motion that specifically raises this particular statute, but RSA 383.10b is as follows. I've got it here. Well, you got it, Mark. It's changed. It pertains to confidential information, and it's as follows. All records of investigations and reports of examinations by the banking department, including any duly authenticated copy or copies thereof in the possession of any institution under the supervision of the bank commissioner, shall be confidential communications, shall not be subject to subpoena, and shall not be made public, unless, in the judgment of the commissioner, the ends of justice and the public advantage will be subserved by the publication thereof.
My intent is to go to a judge and allow to use this publicly.
Okay. The commission, would you like me to finish reading?
You don't have to.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of black on there, so we can talk about that in a second. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This would be the kind of the cover page response of the document request list.
Excuse me, object. Where is this page that we're referring to that's completely redacted?
I just said we will explain the redaction in just a moment.
Well, how can you explain a redaction that we can't see? I mean, there's a lot of redactions through this whole thing, now, isn't there? Now, why is there so many redactions? Can I ask the hearing on that? Why do we have all these redactions?
We will find out.
Well, it's a cover-up is what it is. And where they came at, that's why it's redaction. Hey, listen, if it's all sealed, why redact, right? So we're going to send this, you ready? Now, this is what I talk about having a plan. To Judicial Watch. Right, and we're going to show them the files and the redactions. And how can I have had a hearing and defend myself without being able to read the complaint? Because it was redacted. So now if it's unredacted, we have the guilt of the banking department and the Attorney General's office. We also bring in Brian Toomey of my company. Now I'm going to show you what this gets us, right? So simple, but it opened the door at the banking department, but it got us the drug laundering. So now we've just got the drug dealers in our state. We go to the Attorney General's office. In this case, the Assistant Attorney General was in the DRA case, was Richard Head. That's right, Dickhead. He immediately resigns, goes to California. Perlow, who was the banking commission during that time of that hearing, he also resigns. And I believe he went to another bank, maybe questionable what they're doing there. I would if I brought Perlow, who wasn't a banker at all. He worked for McLean Law Firm, as did Richard Head, as did Kelly Ayotte, as did Foster of the AG's office, as did when I appealed this case to Judge Comboy. I lost all the appeals. She was a managing partner of McLean. These people are the cover team. You see what I'm saying? Now, we just got into the banking department. Trust me with this corruption. It's the outer shell that we've got to pass. It's that shell that protects them. It's the size of the corruption. But it's the weight of that size that will have them fall apart. So we've got to chip away. I just showed you how to get the drug dealers, to get the banking department, get the AG's offices protecting them. I have multiple witnesses within those departments. For instance, Brian Toomey. You've seen me give his computer and cell phone to the United States Attorney in New Hampshire, Farley. You've seen me give it to the FBI, Hassenbecker. They all mailed them back. And you know what? You'll see a letter here that they said they considered. This is a guy named Robert Casella. What you're going to know is they can't use the word investigate because everybody goes to jail. See? So we've started a domino through the banking to tie in the AG. We're not done yet, right? Well, what about the case in the court with the DRA? Well, there's Judge Anderson, the same judge who's got an arrest warrant for me. Right. For the family court where my own attorney told me they were stealing the money and looking for protection. You see? Anderson has to take it because he's in trouble with the DRA piece. No witnesses, no evidence, just a forged tax return. Forged tax return? So wait a minute, we just got the judges, Anderson, who's working with Judge Tucker and Judge Delker and Judge Francois. We go to the Superior Court and get Comboy, but we also get the IRS. Right. You remember? We just had the top guy at TITCA, the criminal division of the IRS, say we had a mole in the company.
I don't care. My concern is they're the wrong thing, and so I said nothing, I did nothing but give them back. In one capacity, told me about something like a memo, email. Good times, Tim. This is going to be your case. I'm going to call him, Chris, and I'm going to tell him, like, we have a plan. We've had an undercover interview.
Now, let me give you the mole. Brian Toomey. My VP. 20-something years worked for the company. Get somebody you can trust. He was part of the audit with the banking department. He would have had to work with Richard Head. He also has a computer and cell phone. You know why no one can look into it? Because they planned on murdering me. And that information's on the computer. You're going to hear a little snippet. I'll put a thing of no room service where they tried to break into my room in Miami just as Brian Toomey and Kerry Lemieux knew I was meeting with the National Mortgage Association. Now you're going to hear a Florida cop refer to the case. I'll put that on the video.
This is Sergeant Matola with Miami Beach Police. If you can give me a call back at 305-877-2427 regarding your case from the Ritz. Thank you.
Hey, Michael, it's Detective Russo, Nashville PD. Hey, just so you know, Brian Toomey got arrested a couple weeks ago, a couple days after July 4th, I believe. So it was like July 7th. He got arrested and charged with the 2 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card. One second, he should be having court in the next month or so. He got bailed out.
What they did was to stop the investigation. Because it was an attempt on my life to murder, because I was getting into the banking department, which is the first domino in all our states. If we can prove it here, we can start auditing across this country, and we're going to get them and all the politicians that drug money bought, which is the leading cause of death with the people under 50. Can you imagine the billions of deaths bringing in and who it's buying? Politicians are getting rich. The wealthiest of the wealthy is getting rich. And listen, I was a wealthy guy. I'm just not going to sell my soul. So understand what we've got here. The leader of this guy with Toomey gets us the attempted murders. Brian Toomey gives you the banking department. Brian Toomey gives you Alex Walker and Bill Shaheen. He gives you Carolyn Delaney of the Department of Revenue and her husband, who Michael Delaney was the AG. You see, who worked in McLean. It gives you the court corruption. It gives you the corruption with the judges. It gives you the IRS. It gives you the banking department and the drug laundering. Am I leaving something out? These AG's office is protecting family court and the moneymaker that is with the same judges. This works under an umbrella. The umbrella that I have discovered was a Liberty Mutual, was an insurance umbrella. These corrupt attorneys protect the insurers. For every one attorney that would go after a malpractice attorney, you get 500 that works for insurers. You understand? The insurers and the attorneys have made the law. And they've been working for years corruptly. Well, what's fit under that same umbrella of protection is now the drug business, which is tied in with insurance fraud. For instance, now the godfather of this corruption, the power broker in this state, is a guy named Bill Shaheen. None of these judges, I'm going to show you, I filed 6 JCC complaints, Judicial Conduct Committee. I got them all back the same day. They all work for Shaheen. Now this is what a godfather looks like. He's married to the state senator, Jean Shaheen. He controls the other senator, Hassan. He was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager and largest fundraiser. How's that for connected? Who do you think might have the juice to squeeze me from the IRS and have the top guy in the criminal division act corruptly if it isn't a Clinton? See, and I haven't been political about any of this. I've targeted whoever's corrupt. But my point being is, I'd like to finish with Bill Shaheen. You ready? He is the lobbyist for the opioid industry and the insurance industry. Now, isn't that interesting? And I want you to remember to keep sharing. I want you to remember what I'm showing you in my state is a domino. It's going on in each and one of our states. You know who don't believe in corruption? The corrupt. You want to prove I'm wrong? Would you like me to stop putting these drug dealers on my signs? Would you like me to stop putting corrupt judges on my signs, going after attorney generals? Investigate. Because if you're innocent, you would beg to investigate. You can investigate me. The people who don't want an investigation knows what you're going to find, is that they are criminal. Now let's keep pushing this. It is this simple. I want you to call up Judicial Watch. Let me see if I have their number. I do. You ready? Jeff Lyons. Oh, Jeff, I'm going to email you all this information. That here, notice, the 91 Truth and Information, 91A. You're going to see where I'm going. You're going to get a copy of this. You're going to understand what you can do for this country. Jeff Lyons, Judicial Watch, its number is 1-202-646-5186. We will put in more numbers on the video so you can call them. And listen, set appointments for me. Your congressman, InfoWars, I'll go anywhere. I've just got to go quietly, which is why I don't comment as much, because things are getting interesting for me too. When it gets this simple, I want you people to understand. Not many moves left. I'm not quitting. and it turns out they don't want to turn themselves in. Do you see? This is going to have to end some way and somehow. And when they're trying to sell these guys in the media, and Aaron Day, who was my campaign manager in an insurance fraud case with these guys, in for cover, I'm telling you they're not planning on a new plan. Mike Gill, State of Corruption.
All set? There you go.
Thank you.
No, don't shake my fucking hand. I'm gonna put you in jail. You assholes think this is funny?